Hey guys, it is Mike here, and I'm really excited today to share with you advanced Google product listing ads, also known as shopping campaigns, with search scientists. So let's go through and let's cover how to take your product listing ads from basic to advanced. Now, if you don't know about PLAs, they are typically the foundation for e-commerce stores on Google. They're typically really high converting because they're super targeted, and with what we're about to talk about, it's very easy to beat the competition. So, super targeted. The keywords come straight from the product feed. You don't actually pick your keywords that you actually want to bid on, so you don't have to worry about things like match types and so on. Google only shows your product listing ads for commercial keywords, for commercial search terms as well. Basically what that means is that Google doesn't want to serve a commercial ad for something that is non-commercial. So if someone searches how to make coffee, for example, they're not going to see an ad necessarily for a coffee maker, because they want to provide a good user experience. So if someone searches coffee makers, you better believe that they will see some product listing ads for coffee makers. And of course, they typically have a much higher conversion rate than a search text ad for e-commerce stores, because it prevents people who don't want to shop, don't like the price, and don't like the image from ever clicking on the ad in the first place. Now, like I mentioned, it's good that you only show up for relevant terms from your product feed, but it's bad because just because terms are relevant doesn't mean they all convert the same, and you can't bid optimize for certain terms, even though not all terms are equally profitable. Now, most campaigns right now will have an all products PLA type thing, and maybe they segment it out by brand at the ad group level or even at the campaign level, and that's fine. But if you want to get really good control for your product listing ads, you basically need to set up two campaigns for every product. So every product actually lives in two campaigns. If you're familiar with Amazon PPC, this is exactly what it is on Amazon PPC. They actually have two campaign types, one manual and one automatic, whereas AdWords only has automatic, so you have to do this reverse engineering. You're basically going to set up two campaigns. In the first campaign on the left, you have high converting terms where you bid high, you get a super high ROI, and you get tons of great traffic, and then you're blocking the weak terms. And then in campaign 2, you're going to have weaker but still relevant, where you're going to bid lower and your negative keywords are going to block the strong terms. Now, what we're about to describe is really next level stuff. I would imagine that most people don't set up the PLAs like this. So what we're about to see is actually really quite good. I'm also not going to cover campaign priorities. You don't really need to know what they are. They're sort of self-explanatory. We're kind of going fast here. So how to set it up. There's a 3 campaign mode and a 2 campaign mode. Campaign 1 is where all of your general terms, your worst converting terms, will funnel into. You're going to give your first campaign a high priority, and you're going to bid quite low. Your lowest bids should live here. And then your negatives will be all your brand terms and all your SKU terms, and any other high converting terms will essentially be blocked from this first campaign. And your second campaign is where you want your brand terms, your high converting terms, with a priority of medium. Your bids are going to be higher than campaign 1, and your negatives are going to be very specific SKU terms. So all that flows in here are sort of just branded terms that convert better than the campaign 1, but not as well as campaign 3, which are your SKU terms. Priority low, bids are the highest, and your negatives are only the bad SKU terms. How does this actually all work? A term will get triggered. Google will look at what campaign to serve the ad to, and then it starts with the highest priority. However, if a negative blocks it, it moves to the next campaign. So it starts with the priority and then moves to and then uses negatives, and then it will move to the next one. So in a real world example, let's say you sell men's Oakley Holbrook sunglasses. If someone searches men's Holbrook, this would be considered a branded high converting term. Now, it'll start with the highest priority in campaign 1. It has low bids, but then when it checks the negative keyword, you have blocked branded terms from that first campaign. So it'll look to the medium priority, which is campaign 2, and it will trigger there. Now all of a sudden we have a more aggressive bid. We're going to get more visibility than we would if it were to trigger in the lowest bid campaign. Let's say someone else searches sunglasses. This is a non-branded generic term. This probably converts quite low. So basically it'll look towards the highest priority, and it will be triggered in your campaign 1 with the highest priority. It won't have any negative keyword conflicts, and you'll be bidding very low on this low converting term. Now the 2-campaign variant just basically combines campaigns 2 and 3 into just one campaign. So it's a little bit easier. It gets the exact same result. Campaign 1, low converting terms, priority high, bids low, negatives, all strong terms. Campaign 2, high converting terms, priority low, bids high. Why is this cool? Because you don't need to be constantly adding negatives to control this, to funnel these things. It's actually going to use the priorities to funnel things in, and then the negatives to sculpt it on the back end. To recap the 3 campaign style, campaign 1, campaign 2, and campaign 3, I'll pause here. And then the 2-campaign model is very, very similar. It just combines the SKU and the branded terms. So every single product listing ad should be set up just like this. Every single shopping campaign should be configured in this manner, because you will see the highest conversion rate, you will see the highest sales volume, and you will see the best mitigation of those generic terms that flow in. You'll basically see those at the lowest cost possible, because all of those generic non-high converting terms will slide right into campaign 1. And that is the 2-campaign model.